Hello everyone, you're welcome to this channel. On this channel, I create sewing tutorials, pattern drafting, freehand method, and everything in between. So today guys, I'll be explaining to you how I made this off-shoulder dress. If this is what you're looking for, please kindly watch this video to the end, like, subscribe, and share this video. So let's get started, okay? So guys, I have the off-shoulder bustier panel on my working table. I'll simply go ahead and join these panels together. But have in mind that the pattern drafting for this panel, I'll be dropping the link in the description box. You can go ahead and check it out. It's a very interesting tutorial and a beginner can comprehend as well, okay? So this is the back panel, okay? I'll simply go ahead and insert the darts for the back panel. As you can see, I notched the points for the waist darts, so I'll simply go ahead and insert the darts and then I'll bring it back for us to see, okay? So guys, I also use the same pattern to cut out the panels for the lining, and I went ahead to notch the relevant points as you can see me doing, okay? So just like I did for the main fabric, I'll simply go ahead and join the panels together with the seam allowance on the pattern, or on the panel rather. I'll simply go ahead and join the panels together and also insert the waist dart for the back panel, okay? So I'll do this and then I'll bring it back for us to see. So right now I'm simply opening up the zipper allowance, okay? So I'll go ahead and do the needful. So right here I've joined the panels together, both for the main fabric and the lining. So I've inserted a zip, I've inserted the waist dart right here, and for the main fabric and the lining, so I'll simply go ahead to use the lining to cover up the rough edges, okay? So right sides facing each other, I'll simply use this lining piece to cover up the rough edges as you can see me doing. So guys, we're good here. This is this and that is that, so I'll go ahead and do this right away, okay? So this is the front panel, so I've joined it. I'll simply go ahead to notch the seam so that it can relax very well, okay? So right here I'm notching it and I'm turning it out so that we can see what our bustier looks like after joining the panels together. So guys, we can see our bustier sitting really pretty on the work table, and you can see how good it's looking already, okay? So I also went ahead to join the lining as well. Yeah, so we're good there. So this is the lining. You can see that it doesn't really have much stability because there's no interfacing attached to it, okay? So you can see how the panel is looking to let us know how important a fusible interfacing is to a dress, okay? So guys, I'll be using this bust caging for this dress. It's really optional, you don't have to do this, but if you have to use a bust cage for a plus size, I'll be dropping the link as well on how I made this bust caging, so you can go ahead and check it out on how to make a bust caging for a dress. So basically this is for a plus size person, okay? But based on trend, like I mentioned in my previous video, that based on trend, any bust size can use it. So should in case a client requests for it, you can go ahead and watch the video and know how I really made this, okay? It's a very interesting tutorial as well for you to watch. So I'll simply go ahead to draft the neckline of my choice. You can do any neckline of your preference, but I'll be doing a dual neckline or a scoop neckline. This is not your regular sweetheart neckline. So I'll go ahead and use my shear scissors to cut this. I actually came down by 2.5. It's a 4-inch off shoulder, so I came down by 2.5 from the neckline there. So I'll simply go ahead and draft out the neckline from that point as you can see me doing. So guys, I simply went ahead to attach the main fabric to the bust caging. So I simply use the hemming gum so that we don't have any form of shift. So you simply use your iron to fuse these two together, and you can simply go ahead to top stitch if you so wish. Okay, so having done this, as you can see how it's looking, I'll simply use my lining to cover it up. Okay, to cover the rough edges, cover the neckline and the sides. Okay, so I'll simply place this right sides facing each other. I'll simply go ahead to sew the neckline, flip it over, make sure you top stitch, which is very important. The benefits of top stitching cannot be overemphasized. Okay, so I'll top stitch the neckline and then close up the sides, and then I'll turn it inside out. I'll bring it out for us to see. Okay, after doing this, so you can see what we're having. I'll go ahead and trim out the excesses. We have some sticky lining on the armhole, so I'll go ahead and trim out the excess right here. Okay, so you can see how neat it's looking already. So guys, I'll be using this basic skirt pattern to cut out the main fabric, which is just a part of the main fabric. That's the back part of the main fabric. I also use it to cut out the lining, the front and the back panel of the lining. So I urge you guys to please give your utmost attention to this part, because we'll be creating our drapes here. Okay, so right now I'm cutting out the front part of the lining. Okay, so right here I'm cutting out the back part of the lining. You can see I created a zipper allowance of 1.5 inches, and then I'll simply go ahead to secure it with the pin first, and then I'll cut out the excess fabric. Okay, so we have the front and the back. Okay, so I've opened up the zipper allowance. So right here I'm cutting out the back panel of the main fabric, like I said earlier. Okay, so with a zipper of allowance of 1.5 inches. Okay, so this is what we have here. I'll simply go ahead and open up the zipper side. Okay, so yeah, this is the front part, which is the most important part, or one of the important part of the dress, which is creating the drapes. Okay, and as you can see that on the picture, on the thumbnail, we have the drapes around the hip area. Okay, not necessarily from the top to the bottom. So we have the drapes situated around the hip area. So on my pattern, I'll be creating the drapes from 19 to 27 inches. Okay, so this block skirt, this basic skirt block, it's 16 to about 38 inches. So on the pattern, I'll be creating a drape from 19 inches to 27 inches. As you can see on the screen, the drapes around the hip. Okay, so like I said earlier, 19 inches, okay, to 27 inches. So I went ahead to create a line where I want to establish my drape. Okay, okay, so I'm marking 27 inches. Yeah, this is 27 inches, so I'll connect it like so. Okay, so we're good here. So I'll simply go ahead to mark 1 inch, to mark 1 inch. So 1 inch interval. This is 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. So we have about 8 lines there. Okay, so I've connected it, as you can see on my pattern. So I'll simply go ahead to cut out these lines. So I'll just cut it out like this. Just open it, open it, open it. Yeah, so this is what we have. You can see that I cut open the line. So this is more like a slash and spread method. So I went ahead to number this strip, okay, so that we don't get it all mixed up, should in case there's need for us to redo or recreate whatever we're doing, so we don't get each strip all mixed up. So there's need for you to number it, okay, just like I did, numbering 1 to 10. So I'll go ahead and then, you know, pleat this, okay. So I'm joining and pleat, more like creating a pleat from 2 to 1, then 3 to 2. You know, you just keep going. Ensure that you secure your pleats with a pin, okay. So while you're joining, just make sure that the lines are matching, okay. So you can see the lines by the side, the hip line by the side. Just ensure that while you're draping, you know, the lines are matching, so that you don't kind of have any doubt on your project, okay. So it's something that you have to be very gentle, take your time to do it. As you pleat, you secure with a pin, and then you kind of follow the wave of the first pleat to the other side, and then you also secure it with a pin, as you can see me doing. So I'll continue doing this till I get to the last slide or the last strip of our slash and spread, okay. So guys, after pleating, I'll simply go ahead and cut out the excess fabric on the pattern, okay. Yeah, so this is what we have here. See the drape, see how good and see how neat it's looking already. So I've removed the pin, and then I took it to my sewing machine, and then I tacked I stitched the drape. I secured it with my sewing machine, okay. So you can see this is the lining for the front panel. So I'll simply use it to turn it up, but have in mind that when you're joining your lining, make sure you reduce it by the seam allowance for your hemline. If it's 2 inches, if it's 1 inch, try and reduce the lining. So I went ahead to join the lower part to the upper part of the front part. So what I'll simply do next is to open it up and then relax the seam, okay. I do this for all my dresses, ensure that I relax the seam. It gives it a very neat finishing, okay. So this is the back. I did the same thing for the back. I went ahead to close it up with the lining, and then I joined the upper part to the lower part, okay. So you can see how it's looking, and then this is where I will insert the zip, okay. So I've joined the two pieces together, and then I'm going to insert the zip, okay. So this is the back part. This is what the back part looks like. You can see how neat it's looking. I'll simply open it up, open the waist seam. I'll give this a good press and make sure that the seams relax very well. I'll open this up and then also give that a very good press, okay. Make sure that it's relaxing very well, I mean very well, okay. So let me do this. I'll do this off camera and then I'll bring it back, okay. So now I'll be cutting the sleeve for this dress, and as you all know on the thumbnail, it is a balloon sleeve, okay. And to create a balloon sleeve, I'll be using a freehand method to achieve this, okay. So I actually placed this my fabric on fold, which is having 4 layers. I'll be cutting the 2 sleeves together, and then I went ahead to mark out 20 inches, and then I drew it straight down, okay. I just utilized the whole of my fabric and then I cut it out. So I'll gather it there and gather it there below rather, okay. So I'm notching the center point, okay. So guys, as you can see, I've attached the sleeve to the dress, okay. So you can see how it's looking. I've inserted the zip, and then I've joined the front and back together. Okay, so I went ahead to attach the sleeve, but before I did this, what I basically did was to cover the upper part and the lower parts with a double fold. So this is what the inner part of the dress looks like. You can see how neatly finished and well ironed it's looking. Okay, yeah, so this is it. We're good here. So guys, back to the sleeve. Okay, what I basically did here, so as you can see, I've gathered this part, but before I gathered it, I covered the rough edge with a double fold. So I used a double fold first to cover the rough edges there, and then I simply used a rubber band, okay, to draw it to my required sleeve length. Okay, so for yours it could be 4.5, which is front and back, 9 inches. For some it could be 5 inches, but mine was 4.5. So 4.5 on folds. Okay, so when I open 4.5, we'll be having what, 9 inches plus seam allowance for joining. Okay, so I hope we understand. If there's any point where you get it, you missed it, or you don't seem to understand the point I'm making, please drop your drop your questions in the comment section. I'll be there to answer all your questions. Okay, so for the lower part of the sleeve, I also did a double fold. So I'll be inserting an elastic band there. Okay, I created a channel for this elastic band below there. Okay, so I'll simply go ahead and insert the elastic band in there, and then gather it to my required arm measurement. So make sure that you have all your measurements. Okay, so I'll simply gather this and then I'll close it up. Okay, so after gathering, I will just simply go ahead and close this part I'm touching. So I'll just close the side seam there, and then we're good to go. Okay, so I'll do this right away and we'll get to see what our dress looks like. Okay, so guys, we have come to the end of the video. You can see how lovely the dress is looking already, looking so pretty on the mannequin. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave your suggestions in the comment section. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.